I guess the question really is why I'm here and why I believe in testimony, and I do believe in testimony. I think there's a number of reasons for that. I think the first and foremost thing is we humans are social animals. You know, we thrive on the experience and advice of others from our forebears and friends. If it wasn't the case, then the reality would be that the infomercials and testimonies which we see on the internet and that wouldn't have such grounding. We wouldn't have people sort of saying that they've been able to lose 20 kilos in, 15 weeks using a vibrating flab buster. So I think we are naturally attuned to that social interaction and the experience of others. On a personal sense, I've always found that I've really enjoyed hearing the testimony of fellow Christians. I find that creates an authenticity. I relate to that, and whether that was early in my Christian career or more recently here at Creek Road, when the ministry team, you Dave or Steve or Phil, bring part of your own personal experience into that, I really find that I identify with that, and that helps me with my faith. And I think actually there's a scriptural basis for precedent now. Others may disagree, but I look back to Deuteronomy, in Deuteronomy chapter 6, and that's the time when the Israelites are just about to enter the promised land. They've been given the Ten Commandments and all the statutes and decrees from God and from the Lord. And it's a very interesting thing that in Deuteronomy, towards the end of it, chapter 6, the Lord says, well, when your sons and daughters in the future ask you what the meanings of all this and these decrees and statutes are, it's interesting what he says. He doesn't sort of say, well, it's because I'm the Lord. He could have, because he is. He doesn't sort of say, in a sense, because I've told you so, or come out with an esoteric outline of why he's put the Ten Commandments and those laws in place for them. He actually says, tell them about your experience in Egypt, where you were slaves to the Pharaoh, how I rescued you out of that land, how I've nourished you and brought you forward to this promised land. And sure, he does then say, keep my commandments, that it will go well with you. But he tells the Israelites to outline their story. So I do think that testimony plays a very important part in our Christian witness. Now, of course, I'm grown up in the scientific and mathematical mould. That's been part of my studies. So it would be wrong of me to say that I think testimony alone is the sole outreach of our witness. And when I'm dealing with people who have a scientific background who will question about faith and whether they should believe, I'm the first to say, let's do a scientific experiment. And as I heard passed on to me from a greater person than me, who said, if you're of scientific model, you do the experiment. You place Christ at the centre of your life. You actually allow him to lead and rule your life. And then you measure the outcomes. Perfect scientific model. You measure and see what that does in both your life and the life of others. So I do think there's a place for if you like, a scientific examination and testing of faith and belief. But I'm very big on testimony, and I guess that's why I really like the Gospel of John. Because the fact is, the Gospel of John is really just one great big testimony. From the disciple who we're told that Jesus loved, the disciple who put his head on Jesus' arm in the upper room, the disciple that was first to the grave, the disciple was there when Jesus put Peter to the test and asked of him the affirmation of his love for him by the Sea of Galilee. And as John says in the end of his Gospel, we know that this testimony is true. So for those reasons, for the personal revelation of Jesus to me, reading through the Gospel of John, reading through all those beautiful discourse of Christ in the upper room to his disciples, where he was encouraging them, he was reassuring them, I find that a great revelation and a great source of inspiration, the revealing of Jesus to me in a very authentic manner. So, I really do like the Gospel of John.